Hi everybody, hope you all are fine. We are going to do VALR 2020, the entire set. Uh, I'm going to start with the verbal ability section because RCs are generally long, so I keep them for the end. Okay, so we will start with all the VA questions, grammar, para-based questions, fill in the blanks and all, and then move on to RCs. This is the first question. It's grammar. So what does it say? You had better told her everything. पूछ रहा है आपसे. Which of the following is a grammatically correct sentence? Okay. Now, how do we do in case we get this format? You have to first identify the difference between all the sentences, all the options given here. So, you had better told, you had better tell, you had better told, tell. Okay. Lose. Immediately, I think they can give us the difference between LOSE and LOOSE. Here they haven't given that difference. A friend भी सब जगह same है or else भी same है. So this is the only difference that we need to focus on, right? So अच्छा हाँ यहाँ पर है will and would. Okay, so these are the two zones. Now you had better told her. There is something that we call V3. V1, V2, V3. So it's go, went, gone. Eat, ate, eaten. This is V1, this is V2, and this is V3. I'm sure you know this. Whenever we use have, has, or had, we are supposed to use V3, right? So you had told her last year, I remember. You had gone there and you did not tell me. Okay, that's good. But what happens when we put better over here? You had better do this. You had better not touch that. You had better mend your ways. You had better improve your grades in the test, or else I will not take you to Spain with me. You get it? So when you put you had better, it becomes a warning. Okay? And then this has to be V1. You had better told her nahi hota hai. You had better tell her before it's too late. You had better go there and talk to her personally. कर लो वरना. समझे? तो you had told her normal V3, but you had better tell her. So ये पहली चीज you had better told her out. We are left with B, D and E. You better had tell, no, you better had tell, no. So this is good, right? Or else you will lose a friend. You don't need to put would. Would is something that is not happening. Okay, something that may or may not happen. Or it can be indirect speech. She told me yesterday that she would come today. That is indirect speech. Or he's sure or he feels it would happen. उसको लग रहा है ऐसा होगा, नहीं भी हो सकता है. तो ये दो केस में would यूज कर सकते हैं. यहां पे ये कह रहा है तुम उसको सब बता दो वरना वो बुरा मान जाएगा और तुम अपना फ्रेंड खो दोगे. He's certain about it. If you don't tell him now, you're going to lose a friend. So will is good. LOSE होना चाहिए. LOSE, LOST. So this is V1, V2, V3. This is good. अगर LOOSE होता, that means ढीला, and that is adjective. So you don't need adjective over here, you need a verb. So you will lose, this is good. वैसे भी इसका difference नहीं दिया हुआ है यहाँ पे. But I'm just telling you because this is a very nice trap. किसी question में आ सकता है ऐसा. Got it? So or else you will lose a friend. So this is your answer. I hope it's clear. Next, read the paragraph below. Fill in the blanks. Now XAT generally gives you this type. One paragraph with 3 blanks or one paragraph with 6 to 7 blanks. ऐसा भी होता है. Okay. What do we do in such a case? We read the para once, like a cursory reading, and then we check the options. Dash, medicine has been operated by trial and error. In other words, we know by now there can be entirely dash connections. Okay. Now, what type of options? Formally, randomly, okay, 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 acha. Do I know the meanings of all the words? You have to think this. So, formally, pehle, randomly, hit and miss. Accidental, okay, you know this accidental. Arbitrary, अपनी मन मर्जी से. Casual, you know, हाँ, casual और causal में ध्यान दीजिएगा आप. CAUSAL, that denotes cause and effect, and casual is not formal, right? Fortuitous, what is fortuitous? Fortuitous is by luck. Statistically, ये सब तो आपको पता है. So, let's take a look at the blanks now. Dash medicine has been operated by trial and error. Formally, periodically, traditionally, historically. Periodically क्यों आएगा? He is trying to show you पहले ऐसा होता था, we know by now, so अब ऐसा हो रहा है, ऐसा types, है ना? So पहले और अब. So पहले और अब में it can be formally, it can be traditionally or historically. This is out and this is out. Initially क्यों नहीं? Initially medicine has been operated? No. Initially medicine was operated. Initially means doesn't denote a period. Initially means tab, a point of time. So उसमें has नहीं लगेगा. Initially medicine was operated. ठीक है? So initially is out. Historically medicine has been operated. You are trying to show a period in history. Traditionally a period in history. Formally पहले, लेकिन कब पहले? A period in history. तो सब में has लग सकता है. Okay. Operated by trial and error. In other words, कैसा? Trial and error में randomly समझ में आता है, right? Randomly. Analytically, definitely not. Trial and error तो opposite हो जाएगा फिर, है ना? So this is out. It can be arbitrarily or randomly. Trial and error वैसे ही होता है ना? Trial and error, मेरी मर्जी, I'll do it. अच्छा आज मेरा मन किया, ऐसा करेंगे. So it can be either this or this. So this is eliminated. Now I'm left with A and D. Right? We know by now that there can be entirely dash connections between symptoms and treatment. Oh, so in this para, he's trying to tell you how medicine was done earlier, operated by trial and error. In other words, randomly or arbitrarily. Now he's explaining that point here. कैसे होता था? Randomly. We know that there can be entirely कैसा connections? हवा में उड़ता हुआ connections और by luck connections, right? By chance कुछ हो गया तो हो गया. Between symptoms and treatment, and some medications succeed in medical trials for mere random reasons. Right? So here we can put entirely what connections? Entirely it can be accidental connections or fortuitous connections. This sounds better. Accidental connections क्या होता है? रैंडम कनेक्शंस हो सकता है, बट बहुत ज्यादा रैंडम वर्ड भी नहीं चाहिए. ये रैंडम ऑलरेडी दिया है, यहां भी आप रैंडमली डाल दोगे, यहां भी, तो ऐसा नहीं होगा. So entirely fortuitous connections. Fortuitous is based on luck. हो गया तो हो गया, तीर निशाने पे जाके लग गया, right? So the best one is D. Now let's fit it and see if it works. Historically, medicine has been operated by trial and error. In other words, arbitrarily. अपने अपने हिसाब से, right? We know by now that there can be entirely luck wala या by chance wala connections between this, and some medications succeed for just random reasons. Got it? I hope it's clear. Next, a similar question. ठीक है? Now, a map is a useful metaphor for our brain when talking about what? Brain. So if you are comparing a map with a brain, when talking about what? Understanding. Brain has like not much to do with understanding. That is the heart, that is your sense, your experience, your wisdom. Comprehension, connections, design. When talking about design, metaphor for our brain when talking about design. Map, design, no. Brain design, no. This is eliminated. ठीक है? Comprehension, connections out. Because map is about places. Map is about how you locate a place. Connections, brain doesn't talk about connections. If you are thinking neural connections, you're overthinking. Okay, so ye or ye out. It's between comprehension and perception. If you're not sure about this blank, move forward and check the other two blanks. Because at its most basic level, our brain dash to be our atlas of sorts. Dash to be our atlas of sorts. Atlas of sorts का क्या मतलब? ये वो बहुत सारी चीजें मिली जुली. Our brain progress, ये तो हटा दिया था हमने. Our brain metamorphosed or our brain evolved. Normally when we talk about the brain, we talk about evolution. We don't say metamorphosed. क्या वो metamorphose होकर के बिल्ली बन गया या तितली बन गया? So comprehension हो सकता था, but metamorphosed a weird one. Even if we look at the words in the second blank, metamorphosed out, changed to be our atlas of sorts. पहले क्या था? Developed, evolved, progressed. I can take one of these three. ठीक है? ये और ये. Now go to the third blank. A system of routes dash to navigate us. A system of routes. Brain, map, designed to, है ना? So हमने ये अगर रखा second blank के हिसाब से, second word के हिसाब से, shaped to or designed to? Designed to, obviously, है ना? So let's fit all the three from here and see if it works. A map is a useful metaphor for our brain when talking about perception, because at its most basic level, our brain evolved to be our atlas of sorts, a system of routes designed to navigate us toward just one destination, staying alive. So this should be your answer. I hope it's clear. Okay, so in such questions, please don't get stuck on one blank. If that doesn't work, move on. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now this is a grammar question. So it says what? I have good knowledge of German. Except for Rajiv. Okay, पूछा क्या है? Read the following. Okay, grammatically incorrect. How do we work on such a question? Start with the easiest one. I have good knowledge of German. थोड़ा सा confusing है. कोई नहीं, except for Rajiv. Whole Delhi was celebrating. Whole Delhi क्या होता है? The whole of Delhi. Okay, या simply Delhi was celebrating. Whole Delhi क्या है? So 3 तो definitely wrong लग रहा है. Neither the dog nor is the cat responsible for this mess. अब आपने पढ़ा है neither the dog nor the cat is responsible for the mess. तो you're confused here. रहने दो. He knows to swim. In my grammar 150, this point is there. If you know how to do something, the sentence should be I know how to drive. I know how to swim. He knows how to knit. He knows how to climb a tree. Okay, how आना जरूरी है. So this is easy. I look forward to seeing you. This is again a very easy one. I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to doing this for you. I am looking forward to seeing you. चाहे वो I look forward to हो, चाहे I am looking forward to हो, ये part ing ही रहेगा. Got it? So this is good. Now I know that this is correct. I don't need this in my answer. This is out. This is out. This is out. Right? I know that this is wrong. I need it in my answer. So ये हो सकता है, अरे ये दोनों में से कोई भी हो सकता है. Right? Now ये या ये cool. I have good knowledge except for Rajiv. ठीक है. अब ये हमने eliminate कर दिया इसके basis पे. Whole Delhi was celebrating Independence Day. Whole Delhi. I know that this is wrong. Whole Delhi. It should be there in my answer. So ये 3 है. This. So this is ideally like this is good. 135. Now I'll give you the reasons for all the sentences there. I have good knowledge of German. I have good knowledge of the German language. Because if you just say I have good knowledge of German, German what? German तो humans भी होते हैं जो वहाँ residents. So see, spoken में this is correct. Okay, I have good knowledge of German. But the thing is, that is like a stickler for prescriptivist grammar. So that says if you're talking about German language, you had better say that. ठीक है? So I have good knowledge of German language. You cannot say I have a good knowledge. A good knowledge इसलिए नहीं बनता because knowledge का knowledges नहीं होता है. ठीक है? So I have good knowledge of the German language. Except for Rajiv, everybody was there. This is correct. Except Rajiv, everybody came to the party, or except for Rajiv, chalega. Whole Delhi, no. The whole of Delhi was celebrating Independence Day. Neither the dog nor the cat is responsible. Correct है? ये भी correct है. Neither the dog nor the cat is responsible for this mess, or neither the dog nor is the cat responsible. Okay. He knows to swim. गलत है. He knows how to swim. I look forward to seeing you. This is correct. You can also say I am looking forward to seeing you. I hope we are done with this. ठीक है, the entire set. I hope the explanations are clear. Next one. Go through the statements below and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so this is a PJ, right? Okay, right. ये options दिए हुए हैं. सबसे पहले तो ना I check the options and see P, Q, S. Okay, S. Okay. So P, Q, S. R से तो कोई भी start नहीं हो रहा है. P, Q, and S. Now, okay. After this, what do? We try to see if we will start with P or Q or S. I mean, if we can locate the opening sentence. So, Surbhi's Instagram profile has 1.4 million followers. It is filled with pictures of her posing in different settings. In India, reports suggest that WhatsApp, much more than Facebook or Twitter. Hang on a moment, guys. Yep, I'm back. Unfortunately, today there's nobody else in the house to answer the door. Okay, now what do we do here? So as the first step, I check PQS. All right, I saw that. ठीक है. अब if I start reading, Surbhi's Instagram profile has 1.4 million followers filled with pictures of her posing. ठीक है. In India, reports suggest that WhatsApp. Do you want to start with this? In India, reports suggest that WhatsApp, because before that, we can come up with like social media, na? So Instagram, WhatsApp, these are like Facebook, Twitter, these are examples of social media. So I would want to start with S. Okay, eliminated, eliminated. I'll keep this, eliminated. PJ in that is actually easy, guys. Okay, now I have got these two. SRQ या SQR. TP तो यहाँ है. दिमाग अपना मत परेशान करना इन सब चीजों के पीछे कि मैं तो पूरा ही सॉल्व करूंगा फ्रॉम बेसिक्स. ऑप्शंस है ना, काम कर लो वहां पे, टाइम सेव करो. सो SRQ और SQR. Let's start with S. Political advertising on social media comes in many forms and remains under-examined in India. Okay, then what do? Political campaigns pay social media companies to promote their content. Okay, sounds good. Political advertising, and then political advertising के अंडर में how will you advertise? You come up with campaigns. Okay, pay social media companies to promote their content. This is good. So, okay, SR seems good to me. Can I put SQ? Political advertising, and then I go to in India this, okay, and then I go to SQR, political campaigns. No, not exactly. Here we can see a funnel. You first start with political advertising, then you come down to how is the advertising done? That is through political campaigns, right? Then kaise? ये बोला है to promote their content. So SR, and then you go to this. In India, what happens? Reports suggest that WhatsApp, something political tool for dissemination, ये हो गया. Then you go to this. Social media influencers are used for the dissemination of content. इसका example, social media influencers is given here. Surbhi's Instagram profile. So TP तो वैसे भी like आपका यहाँ इसमें भी सब में TP तो दिया ही हुआ है. Right? So example है यहाँ पे social media influencers का example है ये. So TP is a good pair. We start with S, we know this. Since S talks about advertising, after that we'll go to campaigns. So S and P, and then you can come up with like, you know, how. So how में in India ये WhatsApp का you put Q over here. So SP, P क्यों डाला है मैंने? SRQ TP. This is good as your answer. Hope this is clear, guys. Now, this question is an inference question. Here, which of the following can be best inferred based on the above paragraph? So, let's read the paragraph now. People who work in law, hotel, and food services and technology were found the most likely to skip breakfast daily. Okay, according to a recent study, people like me. As for people who do eat breakfast and prefer a savory type like an egg, so do not eat. There are people who eat. So he says, as for people who do eat breakfast and prefer a savory type, so it's understood he's talking about this same category: law, hotel and food services, and technology. Most likely, and mostly they skipped breakfast. But if there were those people in that category who did eat breakfast and preferred a savory type like an egg, savory and namkeen, the study found they tend to make more money, be night owls and prefer cats over dogs. Okay, so do not eat, and then you have been given the industry here, ye wale, right? Now, people who eat में, they prefer egg, that is savory. So these people make more money, right? Night owls and cats, right? That means इस category में, इस industry में, there are two types of people: people who don't eat, people who eat, right? So people who don't eat में, again there is like no, people who eat में, again there are two types of people: savory and sweet. Savory में ये characteristics है, तो बाकी जो है, if you prefer a sweet breakfast like a donut, right, you tend to be a morning person, not night owls. You like rom-coms and you're a dog person. ठीक है, यहाँ पे वो भी लिख दे रही हूँ मैं, sweet वाला. So you prefer rom-coms, romantic comedies, ठीक है, dog person, and you are a morning person, right? ये पूरा हमारे पास clear है. Now, which of the following can be best inferred? Best inferred means something that is 100% true from the paragraph. So let's eliminate now. A preference for cats as pets over dogs usually is a result of eating egg for breakfast daily. Now, in the paragraph, there is no causal thing shown. Means there's no cause and effect that if you eat breakfast, you start loving cats over dogs. Eggs wale mein bola hai you're a cat person, but this is, I mean, the author is just highlighting similarities, he's just highlighting characteristics. Okay, not exactly showing some cause effect. अंडा खाओगे तो बिल्ली पसंद आएगी, no. He says people who do eat breakfast and people who do eat breakfast में दो categories हैं. So people who prefer eggs somehow have that tendency to make more money. They are night owls and they prefer cats. कोई भी यहाँ पे as such इसका cause ये या इसका cause ये ऐसा नहीं है. So a preference for cats as pets over dogs usually is a result of eating eggs for breakfast daily. Okay. और ये एक और चीज यहाँ पे, as for people who do eat breakfast and prefer a savory type, again this does not talk about daily. Okay, it does not talk about usually, right? तो ये दोनों words plus cause effect, so I can eliminate this. Among regular breakfast eaters, early risers have more sugar in their breakfast than late risers. The paragraph does not compare early risers and late risers, so this is out of scope. IT professionals who eat breakfast, who eat eggs for breakfast, ये वाले IT professionals, technology, yes, तो तीनों में से कोई भी ले सकते हैं. Lawyers बोल सकता है, F&B people from hotels या technology IT people. तो IT लेके option C बना रहा है. IT professionals who eat eggs for breakfast are more likely to make more money, yes, than their counterparts who eat donuts for breakfast. Now, here if you are thinking कि यहाँ इनका तो बोला नहीं है कि मनी बनाते हैं कि नहीं बनाते हैं? सो हाउ कैन वी इन्फर सी? यहां देख रहे हो, यहां आपको दिया मेक मोर मनी कंपेयर टू हुम। ये नहीं बोला दे मेक अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, तब ये होता नो कंपैरिजन, बट यहां बोला है दे मेक मोर मनी। मोर मनी मीन्स कंपेयरिंग दोज पीपल टू सम अदर पीपल, सो कंपेयरिंग देम टू द स्वीट ब्रेकफास्ट वाला पीपल, ठीक है। मेक मोर मनी देन द काउंटर पार्ट्स हु ईट डोनट्स फॉर ब्रेकफास्ट, करेक्ट, ये दिया हुआ है, दिस इज गुड। Lawyers who eat savory breakfast daily, lawyers, okay, savory breakfast egg, make more money than those lawyers who have early breakfast daily. Wrong comparison. सेवरी ब्रेकफास्ट और स्वीट ब्रेकफास्ट का कंपैरिजन है, ये सेवरी और अर्ली ब्रेकफास्ट डेली की बात कर रहा है, राइट यहां जैसे इसने बोला था अर्ली राइजर्स लेट राइजर्स, ये मॉर्निंग पर्सन एंड नाइट पर्सन की बात किया है, देयर इज नो मेंशन अबाउट who gets up at what time. So this is faulty comparison. Early breakfast daily, late breakfast daily. Eliminated. Then hoteliers who eat breakfast, ye wala, who eat breakfast are more likely to make more money than those who watch rom-coms. Again faulty comparison. More money compared to people who make less money. Who eat savory breakfast compared to people who eat sweet breakfast. ये comparison parameters हैं. ये कैसा comparison है? Make more money than those who watch rom-coms, right? So than those who watch rom-coms नहीं, than those who eat sweet. तो उसमें they prefer rom-coms है, but here if you do this comparison, this is called faulty comparison. So this is eliminated. This is the only one that is left. तो ये best है इन पांचों में. The closest that we can infer, IT professionals अंडे खाते हैं, likely to make more money. ये नहीं कहा है कि usually, usually that's a result of that. मतलब people who eat bread, eggs for breakfast, as a result make more money. Usually ऐसा language नहीं है. So this is good. I hope this is clear. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Here we have a PJ. Fast food intake, regular junk food, lack of vitamins, junk food, emotional. Start किससे किससे किया है? R, T, Q. Okay, so R, T, Q तीन ही है. Q, R, T. Okay, cool. P से नहीं है, S से नहीं है. Saves us some time. Now let's see which of these sentences can start the paragraph. Regular junk food intake. Okay. Lack of vitamins such as this encourage the development of, okay, so this can come under regular junk food. Okay, the topic is healthy eating, unhealthy eating, and then under that you can talk about lack of vitamins. So this is micro point. ठीक है, इससे start नहीं करेंगे. So I'm going to eliminate this. बाकी दोनों फिर बच जाते हैं मेरे Q. तो Q वाले since S से तो है ही नहीं start करने वाला. T, let's check T. Emotional and self-esteem problems along with chronic illnesses in later life due to obesity are the issues associated with junk food. पहले talk about junk food. Okay, then you can go to issues associated with junk food. Correct? So I won't start with T. I would start with this or this. Now, let's see what Q says. Regular junk food intake can lead to physical and psychological issues among children. Okay? Then, what are those issues? Associated issues क्या है? S में और R में ढूंढो. Right? So, vitamins such as A and C, this is R. Okay? And then, he talks here in S. Rich junk food which are rich in energy, lots of fat and sugar, are relatively low in other important nutrients such as this. So, lack of relatively low in other nutrients such as vitamins. After that, he should talk about lack of some particular vitamins, right? So, vitamins A and C. So, definitely it has to be S first and R later. So, between these two, this is good. समझ में आ गई ये बात? S पहले, it leads to, these foods are relatively low in fiber, vitamins and minerals. कौन से vitamins? Then you go to R. Lack of vitamins such as A and C cause diseases and osteoporosis as well as dental carrion due to higher intake. ऐसा. Clear? So C is good as the answer. Next. This question talks about inference. Okay. Now, what does this say? Global surface temperatures in 2019 are on track to be either the second or third warmest since records began in the mid 1800s. Okay. 2019 का डेटा है, second or third warmest. Okay. Behind only 2016 and 2017. So 2016, 2017, and now they are talking about 2019. So 2019 is definitely not the warmest, right? Now, on top of the long-term warming trend, temperatures in 2019 have been buoyed. On top of the long-term warming trend means there is a warming trend that is already in place. Okay? On top of means besides that, apart from that. So warming trend तो यहाँ बता दिया उसने. On top of the warming trend, temperatures in 2019 have been increased by what? A moderate El Nino event that is likely to persist through the rest of the year. So on top of the long-term warming trend, अब ये warming trend जो है, where is the warming trend? Here इसने बोला है track to be this, the third warmest, second warmest something. Temperatures in 2019 have been buoyed by this. So on top of means this El Nino thing may exist independently of this warming trend. You get it? ये नहीं बोला है कि to add to this warming trend. ये कह रहा है on top of this, so वो already exist कर रहा है उसके अलावा. Now let's eliminate. Best inference बोला है, so one is true, the others are false. Global surface temperatures are increasing at a constant rate for 3 years. This is generally given as a trap, so we eliminate it. Consistent, constant, continuous. तीनों में से कोई भी. Constant कहाँ बोला है? For 3 years. 18 तो वैसे भी गायब है. 16, 17 and then 18 missing and then 19. So constant होता तो 18 में भी होता. Right? At a constant rate. We don't know the rate. जिक्र ही नहीं है, ये तो सिर्फ बोला है कि अच्छा increase हुआ है, warmest. Second warmest, third warmest. Out. A moderate El Nino event increases temperature more than a weak El Nino event. Where is the discussion on moderate and weak? सिर्फ बोला है there is buoyed by a moderate El Nino event. Right? So a moderate El Nino event increases temperature more than a weak. We don't know. है ना? यहाँ सिर्फ बोला है have been buoyed by a moderate El Nino event, have been increased by this. Where is the weak El Nino event का जिक्र, या हमें कैसे पता कि weak वाला जो है वो बराबर का नहीं करता है buoying? Right? So this may or may not be true. El Nino events did not affect temperatures in 16 and 17. The data here is given about 2019. It doesn't say by a moderate first time El Nino event. Had he said that, this could have been true. We could have said that back then El Nino did not exist. Okay, but here he does not say any such thing. So El Nino event did not affect the temperatures in 2016 and 17. Data insufficient. ये कह रहा है on top of this temperatures have been buoyed. Maybe El Nino was there in 2018, 2016 also, and maybe it affected a little bit here and there. Maybe not so much, but maybe it did affect. So we cannot say, eliminated. El Nino event causes global surface temperatures to rise in the long term. Okay. El Nino. Wherever you see a cause effect thing in that, be very watchful. Because here in the paragraph, El Nino caused something. What did it cause? It caused temperatures in 2019 to increase. But it does not say that El Nino causes global surface temperatures to rise in the long term. Right? So we eliminate this. The long-term trend of global surface temperatures is unrelated to El Nino. Global surface temperatures यहाँ बात किया है. Long-term trend, right? Mid 1800s behind something, 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 right? The long-term trend of global surface temperatures may or may not be affected. May भी नहीं है, because ये कह रहा है on top of the long term warming trend. So this long term trend of global surface temperature is given there, but that is a separate thing. Besides that, temperatures have been increased a little bit by moderate El Nino. So El Nino जो है temperatures से connected है, rising temperatures से, but not long term global surface temperatures का trend. So this trend is unrelated to El Nino, can be inferred from whatever is given in the para. Hope this is clear. So answer is E. Okay. Now, yes, we are going to this now. Okay. This is the next para related. Okay. So this says what describes something. When asked what the politician will do, politician's intent. When asked what the politician will do for the nation's economy, he attacked the opponent by saying, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that?" Okay. I mean, she's a woman and I'm not supposed to say bad things, but really, folks, come on. Are we serious? He's being a pig, I think. Like I was trying to come up with something worse, but then okay. So, as a sexist comments or कौन करेगा? Somebody who is extremely patriarchal and he's a pig. MCP कहा जाता है, male chauvinist pig. Nevertheless, we are going to defeat ISIS. ISIS happened a number of years ago in a vacuum that was left because of bad judgment. Now, I find his argument pretty weird. Why? Because he starts by talking about this sex discrimination thing, about the woman or something. Then he goes to ISIS, and then he connects it to bad judgment. Okay, so let's read it once again and see what his intent is. Politician will do for the nation's economy, he attacked the opponent. That's a woman. Yeah, okay, we can understand that. Look at that face. Maybe, Hillary Clinton. Maybe he's talking about, this para is talking about Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? I mean, she's a woman and I'm not supposed to say bad things, but really, are we serious? Nevertheless, we are going to defeat ISIS. Irrespective of everything, we are going to defeat ISIS. अचानक कहाँ से ये बात आ गई? ISIS happened a number of years ago in a vacuum that was left because of bad judgment. Bad judgment of the woman opponent? No. Bad judgment of you guys. Years ago bola hai, a number of years ago. Even back then you had elected somebody else. That was bad judgment. So ISIS happened, that was left because of a bad judgment, and I will tell you, I will take care of ISIS. So he's trying to woo the voters. He's trying to tell them, once long back you guys made a bad judgment, now don't do that same thing again. So let's see, the politician's intent can be what? To divert attention towards ISIS as compared to the economy. Okay, is he trying to divert attention? Completely no. He's talking about ISIS, but he brought up ISIS in order to remind people of their bad judgment. So towards ISIS as compared to the economy? No, not exactly, because economy say related ye. Politician will do for the nation's economy and I'm going to take care of ISIS. So ISIS is very much affecting the economy. This is what he's trying to say. So बहुत ही ज़्यादा digress नहीं कर रहा है from the topic. To appeal to the macho voters and use fear as a tool to lure voters. Fear. Macho voters. If he were appealing only to the macho voters, he would not talk about ye the woman wala thing and then like okay I will take care of ISIS. जब ये I will take care of ISIS बोल ही रहा है, तो why will he use fear as a tool? Then his tone would have been different. Oh, you have no idea what ISIS can do. Last year they killed so many and so many people, and as a result we face this crisis. This year again I'm expecting this, and this will continue for the next 5 years. तो ये नहीं कह रहा I will take care of ISIS. So fear as a tool, not exactly. To make an emotional appeal, yes, he is trying to woo the voters. Okay. Then, to digress and argue that security is more important than economy, faulty comparison. He is definitely paying attention to the economy too. So this is out. To make a sexist remark, yes, and share his concern about an important issue, yes. But between C and E, what is his intent? Is he making a sexist remark to share his concern about an important issue? Like, this is something, like under a generic thing, this comes. So he is making the sexist remark and showing his concern about an important issue, but the overall mudda is to make an emotional appeal to the voters, because here he talks about judgment, left because of bad judgment. Okay, not supposed to say bad things. So he is um, kind of trying to impress the vote bank. He's trying to move the vote bank. That is what he's doing. So this is much better than E. Hope this is clear. Now this question that we have is a simple conclusion question. In Australia, jellyfish are most common between November and May. Okay. In Hawaii, jellyfish often show up. So Hawaii is America, Australia the other side. In Hawaii, jellyfish often show up on south-facing beaches 8 days after a full moon. Okay. In the Mediterranean, another zone, blooms usually appear in the summer. Unfortunately for travelers, there is no worldwide database for recent jellyfish sightings, and tourism officials are sometimes reluctant to publicize jellyfish swarms. Why? Out of fear that such news will scare off visitors. Scare off visitors bole to log nahi, the jellyfish swarms that visit these places. Okay. So on the basis of this, what can we infer? Celestial bodies have an influence on jellyfish sightings. Now, inference is not necessarily, conclusion is not necessarily the summary. Conclusion can be connected with the overall thing, the main idea, or it can be just like uh, connected to maybe half the para. But summary pura hona zaruri nahi hai. So celestial bodies have an influence on jellyfish sightings. Australia jellyfish are this, so show up on this. Okay. So here we see no worldwide data, but okay, यहाँ बोला है ना इसने after a full moon. Okay. And then here usually appear in the summer. So ये full moon वाले के हिसाब से celestial bodies have an influence. This is true. Okay. Seasonal variations in the marine temperature impact jellyfish sightings. Seasonal variations. Now, where is the seasonal variation thing given here? Jellyfish are most common between November and May. Okay, November and May, that's fine. Jellyfish show up on south facing beaches 8 days after a full moon. Usually appear in the summer. There are three instances here, three examples. So, seasonal variations in the marine temperature. Marine temperature. I don't think he's talking about marine temperature anywhere. He talks about summer. Seasonal variations, yes. November and May mein hota hai, most common between this. So maybe in the other months it's not so common. But then how do we know that he's talking specifically about marine temperature? Marine temperature is pani ki garmi ya pani ki thandak. That is not exactly discussed here. So we can eliminate this safely. Economic interests influence security advisories. Okay, economic interests. यहाँ बोला है सिर्फ tourism officials are sometimes reluctant to publicize these, that they would scare off visitors. So economic interests influence security advisories. This is not exactly economic interest. Had this been economic interest, they would have publicized, है ना, so that more tourists would visit. ये कह रहा है there is no worldwide database for jellyfish, recent jellyfish sightings, and they are sometimes reluctant to publicize. So had they been totally concerned about economic interest, they would have gone ahead and publicized it just to lure more tourists to these places. भले ही आप देखो या ना देख पाओ, हमें that's not our concern. Okay, so this is out. Tourism officials hide the truth about jellyfish sightings. Okay, hide the truth. Now, there is a difference between reluctant to publicize it out of fear and hiding the truth about jellyfish sightings. It's not, see, if I'm like, I have some information with me and I'm not ready to publish it, I'm not ready to let everybody know. It's not exactly as same as hiding the truth. And that too about, like, tourism officials. This is talking about tourism officials. Tourism officials are sometimes reluctant, just reluctant to publicize because they fear that too many tourists in a particular place would scare off the jellyfish swarms. So tourism officials, why would they hide the truth? They it's just that they don't want to publicize too much. Maybe they have put a poster there at that site. That's not hiding. They don't want to publicize it. They don't want to put it on the database. Okay, but maybe in that particular local area, they have the people know about it, so they are not exactly hiding. Okay, out. Tourists visiting north-facing beaches in Hawaii do not spot jellyfish. Here you talk about in the Mediterranean something. In Hawaii, jellyfish show up on south-facing beaches. Often show up south-facing beaches 8 days after a full moon. Tourists visiting north-facing beaches do not spot jellyfish. यहाँ बोला है often show up. That doesn't mean that on the other side, the south-facing beaches, they don't show up at all. Maybe on the other side they do once in a while. यहाँ often होता है, उधर उतना often नहीं होगा. Sometimes होगा, right? So we cannot say from there that they do not spot jellyfish at all. So this is also eliminated, and this is good because this is the only one that can be inferred completely from here. Celestial bodies, moon is a celestial body. Have an influence. Yes, they affect. क्योंकि यहाँ बोला है 8 days after a full moon. Jellyfish often show up 8 days after a full moon. During appear in the summer. ये सब आगे तो फिर database और sightings की बात की है इसने. So this is good. ओके अब यहाँ पे आप सोचने को ये भी सोच सकते हो कि celestial they are giving here often show up on south facing beaches 8 days after a full moon. So maybe the author is just stating something, stating a fact, but then this may or may not be connected with the sighting. वो overthinking हो जाती है. I mean, this is how we would take out an inference question का answer. So celestial body moon दिया है, उसको rephrase करके इन लोगों ने यहाँ ऐसा दे दिया है. This is definitely concluded from there. Hope this is clear. Now, another paragraph. Based on the above para, which of the following options would you agree with the most? All right. In a 2017 survey of this, my colleagues and I found that workers report experiencing a sizable voice gap at work. How much say or influence they feel they ought to have and how much they actually get. Voice. Okay. Are they heard? On topics such as wages, working conditions, fair treatments, input into how they do their work. And now a second study, right? So now a second study I have just completed with a new team finds that today's workers want forms of voice and representation that go well beyond traditional unions. So, iska koi aur question? Okay. Right. So, I have just completed with a new team finds that today's workers want forms of voice and representation that go well beyond the traditional unions. So, based on the above paragraph, which of the following options would you agree with the most? चलो इसको देखते हैं. So, options would you agree with the most बोले तो simple language में inference निकालना है, right? So, in a 2017 survey of 3915 workers, my colleagues and I found that workers report voice gap. समझ में आ गई ये बात? इतने लोग सर्वे किया गया. That is a gap. How much they say they should have, how much they actually get. What topics? Wages, working conditions, fair treatment, input. Okay. अब एक second study है. So till here there was this first study. And now here there's a second study I have just completed finds that today's workers want forms of voice and representation that go well beyond traditional unions. So today's workers want representation, not just, they're not just happy with traditional unions, they want something more than that. Okay, देखते हैं अब इसमें agree with the most बोले तो one true. The first study shows the frustration of the American workers and the second study shows the inability of unions in addressing them. Inability, not exactly, because here he says workers want something beyond this. That does not mean traditional unions are incompetent. They are not able to handle the points. उनकी ability पे कोई उंगली नहीं उठा रहा है यहाँ पर. So this is out. The first study highlights the existence of the problem and the second study highlights the need for new ways of solving it. Okay. रखते हैं इसको. Existence of the problem. What problem? The voice gap. Second one says, okay, कैसे करना है उसको? Not just with traditional unions, with some other ways too. रख लेंगे. The first study defines the concept and the second study uses the concept in a specific context. Okay. Completed with a new team. Today's workers forms. Now this is not a specific context. This is again general. Today's workers general. ठीक है? Go well beyond traditional unions. So this is eliminated. A out हुआ था, C out. The first study shows the intensity of the problem and the second study shows limitations of the existing solutions. Okay. Existing solution traditional है. Okay. ये traditional unions. Intensity of the problem रख लेंगे इसको. ठीक है? So ये और ये बच रहा है. The first study focuses on the need for fair representation and the second study discusses forms of representation. Not forms exactly. He talks about, he just says, we want to go beyond that. But what are the forms? Not discussed. So eliminated. So I'm left with B and D. Now between B and D, I need to first look for the difference. The first study highlights the existence of the problem. Okay. And the second study highlights the need for new ways of solving it. Now, traditional unions nahi pasand hai, okay, matlab something beyond that we need for new ways, okay, new ways or like, just one way. And what does D say? The first study shows the intensity of the problem, okay, experiencing a sizable voice gap, a gap between how much say or influence they feel, how much they get, okay, and input into how they do their work. Intensity है या नहीं है? And the second study shows limitations of the existing solutions. It does not talk about the limitations of this. Where does he say कि इसमें क्या problem है? He just says we want something more than just this. But he does not say that this is incompetent. He does not say that there are limitations related to this. He said, okay, he says, okay, maybe this is good, maybe this is okay, but now we want something more than that also. So your limitations of the existing this, I eliminate and I'm left with B. Hope this is clear, guys. Okay, there's one more para based here. Human to the moon. इसमें पूछा क्या है? Communicates the intent of the para. If we can send a human to the moon, why can't we build sustainable cities? Oh, हम इतना कर सकते हैं. We can have lofty goals. Why can't we do just something as simple as making a sustainable city with good infrastructure? Defeat cancer. Why can't we come up with these ways? Tackle climate change. So go the rallying cries inspired by one of humanity's greatest achievements. The US effort that put Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon on 20th July 1969. So go the rallying cries. कॉमा होना नहीं चाहिए वैसे यहाँ पे. So go the rallying cries inspired by one of humanity's greatest achievements. ये ऐसा ये होना चाहिए. You get it? ये बताना चाह रहा है कि तो ऐसा है ये rallying cries. किस चीज से इंस्पायर होके? Humanity's greatest achievement. One of humanity's greatest achievements, that is this. हम अगर वो कर सकते हैं तो ये क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं? So the tone of the author is kind of, he's trying to show show that we are lacking somewhere. हम ये कर सकते हैं, but here we maybe purposely we are not paying attention or something. America's moonshot was more about race to the moon and less about solving problems. Don't point a finger at this. Option A तो वही कर रहा है. America's moonshot was more about race to the moon. हमें तो बस पहुंचना है and less about solving problems. No. यहाँ paragraph में intent of the paragraph is overall tone of the author. Overall crux वो ये है कि हम ये कर सकते हैं. कर लिया हमने, बहुत अच्छी बात है. He's happy about it. But then why not this? So यानी कि अगर हम ये कर सकते हो, आप ये नहीं कर रहे हो ये सब, तो आप जानबूझ के नहीं कर रहे हो. So intent is not to show that more about our race to the moon was, sorry, our America's moonshot was more about race to the moon, और हम प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं सॉल्व कर रहे हैं, लेस अबाउट सॉल्विंग प्रॉब्लम्स, वो टोन नहीं आ रहा है. Still, I'll keep it if you want. America's moonshot initiative was mainly a response to USSR's competing initiative. ये तो nonsense है, not given there. ठीक है. The complexity of developing sustainable cities and curing cancer is far more than sending this. I'll keep this because this is exactly what he's saying कि ये complexity इतना जो ये है, क्यों नहीं कर पा रहे हैं हम, जब ये भी कर लिया हमने. आप serious ही नहीं हो या इतना ज्यादा आपको complex लग रहा है. The reason we celebrate 1969 moonshot is because nothing significant has been done in that. This is totally out of scope, eliminated. Moonshot has a definitive ownership, whereas creating sustainable cities and curing cancer are public good problems. That definitive ownership and all, again, out of scope. So it's between A and C. What does A say? America's moonshot was more about race to the moon, less about solving problems. This actually points a finger at that particular thing. The author of the paragraph is not blaming that. He's saying, he's blaming the government. That you can do that, you can't do this. Why? What is the underlying problem? He's trying to ask that. So C is the best one. It says the complexity of developing sustainable cities. Maybe it's something so complex that we are not able to do this. हम चांद पे भी आदमी को भी भेज दिया हमने, पर यही नहीं हो पा रहा है हमसे. Cancer and this and all, climate change. So complexity is far more than sending a human to the moon. The complexity of this is far more than this. ये achieve कर लिया, ये नहीं हो पा रहा है. Got it? Hope this is clear, guys. Hey everybody. So now we are left with the passages. Let me take you through the passages. And some of these are like pretty dense, I know. But चलो कोई नहीं, देखते हैं कैसे handle करना है. So once during a concert of cathedral organ music. Now in that passages, you know that we cannot solve anything without actually reading the passage word for word. This is unlike CAT, in which I used to tell you, do a little bit of skimming and skipping. Okay. Now, ये क्या कह रहा है? Once during a concert of a cathedral organ music, cathedral is church, as I sat getting goose flesh amid the tsunami of sound, the sound was very loud. I was struck with a thought. What was the thought? There's a colon here. For a medieval peasant, this must have been the loudest human-made sound they ever experienced, awe-inspiring in now unimaginable ways. So, he's saying, for a peasant, a medieval peasant, this must have been, means back then when it started, like medieval era May, it must have been the loudest, awe-inspiring in now unimaginable ways. Now, it's not so awe-inspiring. Why? No wonder they signed up for the religion being proffered. Here he says, okay, in that cathedral, when the peasants used to sit and listen to that music, they would be so filled with awe and they would get so inspired that when the priest talked about their religion, these peasants would get swayed and maybe take up that religion. Right? And now we are constantly pummeled. Now here this is important because earlier this must have happened, he's saying, and now what is happening? Now there's something different. We are constantly pummeled with sounds that dwarf quaint organs. अब तो इतने sounds हैं कि बस पूछो ही मत. Once hunter-gatherers might chance upon, again, he takes us back to that era. Hunter-gatherers might chance upon honey from a beehive and it might satisfy a hardcore, something like, hardwired, some craving. And now we have what? Hundreds of carefully designed commercial foods that supply a burst of sensation unmatched. Okay, so what's the big deal if we come across some beehive? We have got thousands of options. Once we had lives, again, back. Once we had lives that amid considerable privation also offered numerous subtle hard-won pleasures. Privation, considerable privation, तकलीफ के बीच में भी life used to give us hard-won pleasures, subtle. Now we have drugs. Back then, life would be like maybe a little difficult and then suddenly people would get some hard-won pleasures and that would give them a big high. Now, in order to get a big high, do we wait for these hard-won pleasures? No way. We have got drugs that cause spasms of pleasure and dopamine release 1,000, blah, blah, blah. In the first para, he tells us clearly what used to happen back then and what happens now. So he's trying to tell us something about how we are spoiled for choice, how there is nothing called hard won pleasure or getting a high, nothing of that sort. It's like everything is very easy and we have got everything at our fingertips. So that subtle feeling of getting something, that getting filled with awe, is not there anymore, right? Now, an emptiness comes from this combination of over the top, ye, ye, ye. He talks about emptiness. Hmm? This is because, and then he gives us the reason here. Strong explosion, something. इसको मैं थोड़ा सा skim करूँगी. क्यों? क्योंकि emptiness की बात चल रही. Why do we get emptiness? It's here. And then what are the consequences? पहले तो why, and then what will happen? Okay, we soon, यहाँ first है, we soon something, and the other consequence. So he talks about two consequences here. Clear? इसको skim कर ले सकते हैं. With desireless. I'm going now to the last three lines, but our frequent human tragedy is that the more we consume, इतना कुछ है हमारे पास, the hungrier we get. That emptiness, more and faster and stronger, and then there's a full stop here. So this is a short sentence, very emphatic. What was an unexpected pleasure yesterday, बड़ी मुश्किल से मिलता था, hard won, is what we feel entitled to today. हमें लगता है अरे ये तो like we have it. What's the big deal? And what won't be enough tomorrow? कल को आज जो हमको वो लग रहा है बहुत कुछ है, कल again. In the future, again it may not be enough. Today we have got so much, right? So human nature and kind of getting too many things, and that kind of just takes away the joy, the pleasure. Okay. Now, which of the following best options reflects the author's understanding of human perception of pleasure? Pleasure comes from whatever we are exposed to for the first time. Whatever. Kind of extreme. Maza nahi aaya. Pleasure comes from what appears to be a valuable discovery or invention. Okay, good. Pleasure comes from what we are accustomed to. No. Now, because we are accustomed to something, the pleasure has gone out of it. Pleasure comes from what we are deprived of. Not exactly. It's not talking about deprivation in the passage. It's talking about earlier we did not have so much. That doesn't mean we were deprived. We did not have so much. Today we have got over the top, so many, blah, blah, blah. ऐसा बोला है इसने. So these two are definitely eliminated. अब ये दोनों रखे हैं मैंने. अच्छा नहीं, whatever is like weird comes from whatever we are exposed to for the first time. No, it's not necessary. He says, once in a while we would come across a beehive or some hard-won pleasure that would give us a high. It doesn't mean kuch bhi, anything that came to us for the first time, we would get pleasure. No. So we are left with B and E. E says pleasure comes from what is perceived to be extraordinary, and this says pleasure comes from what we are pleasure comes from what appears to be a valuable discovery or invention. He is not just talking about discovery or invention, and this goes more with the main idea, because in the first para he talks clearly about that music that was extraordinary. A beehive, that was extraordinary because in that era we did not have so many things, right? So he says something that is not ordinary, that is extraordinary, that gives us pleasure, because of which we would get a high. But now, because everything is ordinary, everything is commonplace, it doesn't give us that pleasure anymore. So this is good. Next, going by the author, which of the following options best answers the question, how can one sustain the pleasure derived from any experience? Sustain. You can go back and check here. How will we sustain? यहाँ पर भी बोला है इसने briefly. अच्छा, ये तो वो है आपका examples है ना? This has two consequences, okay, by this, okay. And the other consequence is that we eventually habituate to even those artificial deluges of intensity, okay. If we were designed by engineers, as we consumed more, we design less. But our frequent human tragedy is that the more we consume, hungrier, okay. ठीक है. So, and यहाँ एक बार देख ले रही हूँ, dopamine something. Now we have drugs that cause spasms of pleasure and dopamine release 1,000-fold higher than anything stimulated in our old drug-free world. Okay, got it. So we go back to the question. How can one sustain the pleasure derived from any experience? How can one keep it intact? Even if I don't look at the options, I think आप intact कैसे रखोगे? If you don't get any more of that kind, तभी तो वो intact रहेगा ना. If you get too many of that same kind, the pleasure will go. Right? So periodic displeasure with synthetic experiences leads to sustaining pleasure. Synthetic experience ही तो नहीं चाहिए. I mean, he is saying periodic displeasure with synthetic experiences. So now he is saying आपका pleasure है, बीच में displeasure आ जाए, तो आपका pleasure वो रहेगा. No, 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 wait. This is wrong side inference. वो passage में he is saying pleasure, 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 बहुत ज़्यादा, nothing gives us pleasure. Once in a while you get something that is extraordinary, that gives you pleasure, and then you don't have other things like that gives you pleasure. That doesn't mean you have to go through pain or you have to go through displeasure in order to understand pleasure. No, after that you don't get more of that same kind. ये कहना चाह रहा है ये. तो periodic displeasure चाहिए कांटों पे चलना है, अंगारों पे खेलना है, नहीं, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं कहा है इसने. Awareness of a habituation moment helps sustain pleasure. Awareness of a habituation moment, मुझे मिला है pleasure and then I know, अच्छा मेरे चारों तरफ तो बहुत सारा है, so I'm going to get accustomed to it. Is that going to give me pleasure? No. Is that going to sustain? No. The closer the experience is to nature, it is not connecting it with nature. Like as such के हाँ, nature ही natural ही होना चाहिए तो ही sustainable होगा. No. So between D and E. Training to appreciate sweet whispers and fleeting moments of joy to sustain pleasure. Sweet whispers and fleeting moments of joy. The harder to replicate, the more sustainable from that experience. Same thing he has said. We don't have more of that kind. That's why we have that extraordinary feeling. Right? So E is better than D. D क्यों नहीं? Because sweet whispers and fleeting moments, these sound like examples mainly. Okay? So this is good. Now, which of the following best describes emptiness as described in the passage? Emptiness. उसने बोला था we feel there is an emptiness. ये. Okay. Inevitability of habituation. सब कुछ इतना ज्यादा है. Synthetic experience. Strong explosions and sensation and pleasure. Okay. हमारे में habituation देता है. Right. So we go to this now. A feeling evoked by the carefully designed commercial foods alluring us to them. Emptiness. Carefully designed commercial foods, the inevitability of habituation that one gets from repeated consumption of man-made this. I'll keep this because it's given there in the vicinity, that habituation thing. Ye eliminated. Evoked by the carefully designed commercial foods alluring us to them. Only designed commercial foods? No. He is talking about something more generic. So this is too specific for us to keep as the answer. हटा दिए उसको. Inevitability of habituation रखूंगी मैं. A feeling of absence of sources of pleasure when extant sources are in abundance. Extant क्या होता है? Extinct का opposite means those that are present. Present. Sources are in abundance. बहुत ज़्यादा, ये भी रखूंगी मैं. Yearning for newer sources when extant sources are in abundance. Extant sources तो ठीक है, but you don't yearn for new sources of pleasure. This doesn't give you emptiness. Emptiness is when you have too many of the same thing and then you stop getting pleasure out of those things. ये कहना चाहा है उसने उधर. A feeling of weariness around extant sources that are in abundance. अब पता है यहाँ पे एक चीज बताती हूँ आपको. When I see this ना, this. I see these three options are similar. I understand instantly that the answer has to be one of the three. ये that type होता है generally. So I'm going to ignore this. Inevitability of habituation that one gets from repeated consumption of man-made foods or drugs. And between this and this, I'm going to select my answer. So a feeling of absence of sources of pleasure when these are in abundance. Absence of sources of pleasure. Let's try to go back and prove this. Combination of over-the-top non-natural sources. ये देख रहे हो आप? Means you just have commercial stuff, synthetic stuff, over-the-counter stuff. Let's say honey. You don't know the source. Let's say music. You've got some records. You've got some unoriginal form. You don't know the source. Okay, let's say water. क्या frizz water, dazzling water, sparkling water, you don't know the source. So non-natural sources of reward and the inevitability. So you are getting, this emptiness comes from दे दो ये भी दे दो ये भी दे दो ये भी दे दो. Who bothers? कहाँ से आ रहा है ये? Why? Because there are so many of the same kind. So going back to this, यहाँ feeling of absence of sources, this is good. Weariness, tired हो जाते हैं हम. Tired की तो बात नहीं की है उसने वहाँ, right? This is out. And a feeling of weariness, not exactly fatigue and weariness. He just says that we become numb to the things that are around us. Numb in the sense like कितना भी दे दो. It doesn't dazzle me the way it used to dazzle people long back when there were fewer choices. Right? So ये weariness हट गया. Now, in case you're thinking about B and you're thinking कि क्यों ही eliminate हो रहा है ये, पहले तो मैंने आपको बताया कि इस तरह का रहेगा similar, तो उन्हीं में से होगा आंसर. But let's check B for your happiness sake. The inevitability of habituation that one gets from repeated consumption of man-made food or drugs. Both the points, this and this, are given in that sentence. Okay, now try to understand one thing. He says there clearly, ये देखना आप ध्यान से, emptiness is there because we don't know the sources of pleasure that leads us to habituation. You got it? Emptiness is there because of absence of sources of pleasure, right? That leads further to habituation, inevitability of habituation. यही बोला है इसने यहाँ, right? From this combination of reward, combination of over this comes from this, and the inevitability of habituation. Okay, not leads, and this inevitability of habituation कि ये तो करते करते हम habituate होंगे ही, right? So going back to this now, inevitability of habituation that one gets from repeated consumption of man-made food or drugs. Man-made foods or drugs, why are you narrowing it down to this? I mean, if I have to eliminate between B and C, this is how I'm going to think. Both are given there. Absence of sources of pleasure and this. So how will I prove one? By man-made foods or drugs, क्यों limit कर रहे हो? It's not only about this. It can be music. It can be anything. पहले वाले में तो music ही बोला. And then the third example in that paragraph was like, it can be some kind of hard-won pleasure among other things that lead to a life of privation. So do not restrict yourself to this. ये narrow, जैसे ये था ना commercial foods, वैसे ये थोड़ा narrow हो गया. This is the best one of the lot. Hope this is clear. So ये वाला passage हमारा हो गया, right? Okay. Now there's another passage. I'll take you to that. हाँ, यहाँ. चलिए. So ये क्या कह रहा है? It's as if someone were out there making up pointless jobs just for the sake of keeping us all working. And here precisely lies the mystery. कैपिटलिज्म ओके. नाउ इतना डेंस है ये पैसेज और कितना बड़ा है, एक ही पैरा है, कोई नहीं. चलो इसमें कैपिटलिज्म आया है, खुश हो जाओ, समथिंग समथिंग फेमिलियर. पर मुद्दा क्या है? व्हाट इज ही टॉकिंग इन दिस पैसेज? इट्स एज इफ समवन वर आउट देयर मेकिंग अ पॉइंटलेस जॉब्स जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ कीपिंग अस ऑल वर्किंग. बनाया चला जा रहा, बनाया चला जा, काम करते चले जाओ, करते चले जाओ. कौन करेगा ये? कैपिटलिज्म वाले करेंगे बिकॉज दे वांट द इकोनॉमी टू ग्रो. प्रोडक्शन प्रोडक्शन प्रोडक्शन. And here precisely lies the mystery. In capitalism, this is precisely what is not supposed to happen. Acha. Sure, in the old efficient socialist states like the Soviet Union, where employment was considered both a right and a sacred duty, because socialist states focused on individual equality and benefit coming to everybody, है ना? तो right and a sacred duty दोनों था. The system made up as many jobs as it had to. क्योंकि सबको इक्वालिटी मिलनी चाहिए थी. सो एवरीबडी फोकस्ड ऑन जॉब एज मेरा राइट है जॉब करना, तुम्हारा है, मेरा भी है. And a sacred duty. I have got a job. I'm going to wake up and go to work because I have to contribute to the society, right? This is why in Soviet department stores it took 3 clerks to sell a piece of meat. सबको जॉब देना जरूरी था in order to promote egalitarianism, right? But of course, this is the very sort of problem market competition is supposed to fix. This is the very sort of problem market competition is supposed to fix. Competition natural, demand and supply, let the market operate. Yeah, according to economic theory, at least, the last thing a profit seeking firm is going to do is shell out money to workers they don't really need to employ. जबरदस्ती का employment क्यों करेंगे, है ना? So they would kind of trim the fat, get rid of some of the employees. Why would 3 people sell a piece of meat? Why can't one person sell a whole cow? Right? Still, somehow it happens. We understood. It's a very easy to understand thing. Capitalism में कम होने चाहिए लोग जॉब में, because आपको तो फायदा चाहिए, profits चाहिए, but that is what is happening. Keep us all working. Right. Still, somehow it happens. While corporations may engage in ruthless downsizing, the layoffs and speed ups invariably fall on that class who are actually making, moving, fixing, and maintaining things. ये जो ले ऑफ्स आप कह रहे हो, स्पीड अप्स कह रहे हो आप, ये उन लोगों पे जाता है, ब्लू कॉलर्ड वर्कर्स पे, who are actually making this and maintaining things. So he is pointing a finger at the classes, the rich and the poor. And capitalism always leads to a gap between the rich and the poor. Through some strange alchemy, no one can quite explain, the number of salaried paper pushers ultimately seems to expand, and more employees find themselves, not unlike Soviet workers, actually working 40 or even 50-hour weeks on paper, but effectively working 15 hours just as this, since the rest of them is spent on this, blah, blah, blah. फालतू का employment. ठीक है? So some strange alchemy, some strange rule, ऐसा gold convert करने वाला rule. The number of salaried paper pushers बोला है, फालतू काम कर रहे हैं, just pushing paper around. That number keeps expanding. Salaried office वाले, white collared. जबकि ये blue collared पे सारा lay off and तामझाम चला जाता है. Okay, and these people working 40 or even 50 hours on paper, but actually working what 15 to 20, क्यों? क्योंकि क्या कर रहे हैं? Spent on organizing, attending this, updating, okay, downloading, blah. The answer clearly isn't economic. There's a colon here. So what is it? It's moral and political. It's because of the setup that we have. The ruling class has figured out, the capitalists, that a happy and productive population with free time is a moral danger if they have enough time on their hands to think about the important things or the blasphemous things that are happening around them. It's going to be dangerous for us because they are going to turn around and question us. They may actually throw us out of power. So they have realized the best way to keep a nation happy is just keep them busy. Mortal danger हो जाएगा वरना. Think of what started to happen when this even began to be approximated in the 60s. And on the other hand, the feeling that work is a moral value in itself and that anyone not willing to submit themselves to some kind of intense blah blah deserves nothing is extraordinarily convenient for them. Last line kya bola hai? And on the other hand, the feeling that work is a moral value, hum kaam kar rahe hain because it's a value addition, and that anyone not willing to submit themselves to these capitalist ka drama, to some kind of intense work discipline, this rigmarole thing करे जा रहे हैं for most of their waking hours. जितनी देर मैं जाग रहा हूं क्या मैं यही करता रहूं? No, I need to be productive in fewer hours. Deserves nothing. बेकार है ऐसे लोग जो ऐसा सोचते हैं कि हम मॉरल वैल्यू है हमारे काम का, जो ऐसा सोचते हैं कि हमें सुबह से उठ करके लेके रात तक हमें पहिए की तरह नहीं चलना है. बेकार है ऐसे लोग. Is extraordinarily convenient for them. Right? So this feeling is convenient for them. राइट और ये बोला है इसने यहाँ पे इन लोगों का ये पॉलिटिकल सेटअप में, दिस इज कन्वीनियंट, जस्ट कीप देम बिजी. राइट, ये समझ में आ गया. कूल सा पैसेज है. डू नॉट डू एनी दैट पैसेज विदाउट रीडिंग. ओके, नाउ which of the following options, if true, best makes the author's assertion erroneous? भाई ऑथर क्या कह रहा है? ऑथर्स assertion on pointless jobs, बेकार का काम कर रहे हैं ये लोग, खाली घूम रहे हैं, उसका कोई फायदा तो है नहीं. हम उसको क्या makes his assertion erroneous? We have to weaken him and say, अरे पहिए की तरह काम करना is good for these people, पहिए की तरह काम करना is good for the company earns profits, पहिए की तरह काम करना is good for the nation grows, उसका benefits दिखाना है. right? Pointless jobs add less value to the organization than the jobs of those who are making or fixing things. Pointless jobs add less value than the jobs of those who are making or fixing things. So you are comparing two types of people over here, right? Uska assertion जो pointless jobs का था, that was not connected to these people. So why would you compare? Pointless jobs add less value than the jobs, हमें नहीं पता कितना. You're getting the point? I mean, if you say here in option A, pointless jobs add less value, say, than the jobs of those who are making or fixing things, blue collared. तो ये pointless jobs वाला उससे कम value देता है. Okay. ये लोग इनका job हो सकता है 100 देता होगा, right? ये pointless jobs आपका मान लो 80 देता है, or it gives you 60. So how is this weakening him? This is actually kind of strengthening ना कि हाँ खराब है, pointless jobs तो stupid है. So I eliminate this. Pointless jobs decrease the efficiency of the organization since they replace those. ये भी तो बुराई ही कर रहा है, हमें तो pointless jobs की तारीफ करनी है. This is eliminated. Workers who carry out pointless jobs are more loyal to the organization than others. I'll keep this. कुछ तारीफ की इसने. Even though the rate of increase in pointless jobs is higher, the absolute number is lower than that of meaningful jobs. यार उनके number से हमें मतलब नहीं है. We have to praise those jobs, right? So this is eliminated. Organizations with a higher number of pointless jobs are more profitable than those with less. Now between C and E, yeah, this one is talking about loyalty. This is talking about economic benefit. So this is much better. And that's your answer. Okay? Next, which of the following can be best inferred from the passage? Inference is simple. So, keeping people employed for longer hours serves the plans of the ruling class. ये तो दिया है. Employed for longer hours, making them work senselessly, है ना, पहिए की तरह दे रखा है ये, रखते हैं. The ruling class abhors leisure so much that they encourage organizations to create unwanted jobs. They don't abhor leisure. No, 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 no. अपने लिए leisure रखते होंगे. They think, don't give leisure to these people because if they have extra time, they are going to overthrow the ruling party. So this is eliminated. Pointless jobs are here to stay regardless of whether they are necessary or not. Who told you this, that they are here to stay? Can we infer this? Inevitability of pointless jobs? No. Work as a moral right is the design of the ruling class to cut down on leisure. Work as a moral right is the design of the ruling class to cut down on leisure. ये correct है. Design of the ruling class to cut down on leisure, fine. But as a moral right? Not exactly. Moral right बोला है people who think that their work is adding moral value, last line. But this is not given for the ruling class. वो नहीं सोचते हैं कि हाँ work is a moral right. That's why we should cut down on leisure. No. This is eliminated. For political reasons, profit-making firms sometimes indulge in non-profitable decisions. How do we know whether they are making non-profitable or not? Profit-making firms indulge in this for political reasons. It is out of scope. Profitable होता है, नहीं profitable होता है by firing people, not given there. So this is the only one that can be safely inferred. Right, and the next one, the last one. Which of the following will best explain the principle underlying the theme of the passage? ये क्या कह रहा है? Principle underlying the theme. Theme is what? Theme is work, capitalists. They're making the lower classes work for them. Okay. So underlying the theme is something that supports the theme. Let's go down and read the options. Keynes predicted that a happy and productive workforce is a force for the good. Okay. Keynes predicted that a happy and productive workforce is a force for the good. This gives the passage a positive tone. Okay. So I mean, this is not supporting exactly the theme. The theme is uselessly इनको रखे रहते हैं, right? So look for something more connected with that. People unwilling to submit to an intense work discipline deserve nothing. Unwilling to submit to an intense work discipline deserve nothing. It's given here in the end. Some kind of this, ये बोला है, and on the other hand, the feeling that work is a moral value and that anyone this is extraordinarily convenient for them. Right? So this is not the underlying theme. The theme is this. जो पीड़ा दी जा रही है लोगों को. You get it? So this is not connected with the पीड़ा. ये तो बोला people unwilling to submit deserve nothing. ये author is giving one viewpoint, that is this is not the theme. Just एक point दिया है उसने यहाँ. So this is eliminated. Organizations that create more jobs are rewarded by the government for protecting political values. Now, organizations that create more jobs rewarded by the government for protecting political values. Organizations jobs create करते चले जा रहे हैं, जैसा ऑथर ने बोला. How do you know these are rewarded by the government? I mean, for protecting political values. Maybe these are not recognized by the government. He's talking about the ruling party, I agree, but rewarded or not, how do you know that? So explain the principle underlying the theme. The theme is talking about people who are exploited in the name of jobs, right? यही तो बोला है इसने पहले लाइन से लेके लास्ट लाइन तक. Peace and order in society require humans to be engaged in some activity, most of the time regardless of its meaninglessness. This is exactly what would support or be the underlying factor for his argument. Why are people doing this? जो इसने paragraph में explain किया है, pointless jobs. Why? There are pointless jobs everywhere and these are being created despite the fact that capitalism is not supposed to do so. The markets are supposed to adjust everything. Still this is happening. So why it is happening? Because people, the ruling party believes that the people should be kept engaged. This is the crux of the passage. And going with that, we get this as the underlying. Explain the principle underlying the theme of the passage. Simple language में break करो इसको question को, तो it means what is one thing that would support the crux of the passage. So the crux of the passage is exploitation in the name of jobs, and this is what goes with that. बाकी ये जो create more jobs are rewarded, this is not connected with the main idea. And rewarded or not rewarded, we don't know. People unwilling to submit deserve nothing. As I said, this is just given in the last line, but it's a viewpoint of the author, not exactly something that he's talking about. Exploitation, look at the tone in this. They deserve nothing. Exploitation से कैसे connect कर रहे हो आप? Keynes predicted that a happy in this force for good, happy and productive workforce is a force for the good. ये तो बिल्कुल ही टोन से अलग चला जा रहा है. एक्सप्लॉयटेशन किधर है, right? Work is a moral value in itself. This is anyway. Moral value again changes the tone. So this is the best one. Okay, I hope these are clear. Okay, there is one here. There is nothing spectacularly new in the situation. Most old societies turned young nation states learn to live in a world dominated by the psychology and culture of exile. For some, the 20th century has been a century of refugees. Others, like Hannah Arendt, okay, refugees की बात चल रही है, as contemporary symbols proclaim something more than a pathology of a global nation state system. ठीक है? So let's just read it properly and take out the hero, the crux or whatever. इसके I think 2 या 3 questions हैं. There is nothing spectacularly new in the situation. Refugees का अगर चल रहा है topic तो कोई नई बात नहीं है. Migration has always happened. Most old societies turned young nation states. Earlier these were societies, now they have become chote nation states. Learn to live in a world dominated by the psychology and culture of exile. People banished from a kingdom, from a country, and then they migrate, they go to some other place. For some, the 20th century has been a century of refugees. 20th century bole to 1900 something. Others, like Hannah Arendt, have identified refugees as virtually a new species who have come to symbolize the distinctive violence of our time. इनके हिसाब से वो कुछ नई चीज है. Refugees as contemporary symbols, however, proclaim something more than a pathology of a global nation state system. Pathology bole to disease. So if you are talking about refugees in the modern context and thinking of them as contemporary symbols, they are not just a pathology or a disease of a global nation state system. तो और क्या है? They cross that. What are they? They also represent a state of mind, a form of psychological displacement that has become endemic to modernizing societies. Something that is inherent to modernizing societies. Some displacement, state of mind, right? One does not even have to cross national frontiers to become a refugee. अपने देश में भी हो सकता है because of his getting segregated from the others. One can choose to be seduced by the pull of self-induced displacement rather than be pushed by some king or some oppressive system at home. आप अपने आप को भी पुल करके self induced displacement दे सकते हो even by living in your own country. It is this changed status of territoriality in human life that explains why in immigrant societies like the United States, United States में सब बाहर से ही आए थे, right? Immigrant societies, the metaphor of exile is now jaded. Exile is what? Oh, that's obsolete. Okay. Some have already begun to argue that human beings need not have a home. What is exile? No, it is jaded. Come on, what is exile? You need not, it's not necessary to have a home as such, and then when you leave that home, you are exiled. No, nothing of that sort. Everything is fluid now in the United States. Begun to argue that human beings need not have a home, as it has been traditionally understood in large parts of the world. That the idea itself is a red herring. Zabardasti ka argument, it's a fallacy. While the idea of exile begins to appear trite in intellectual circles, exile kuch nahi hota hai, these people say. An increasingly large proportion of the world is getting reconciled to living with the labile sense of self. Labile sense of self, fluid, flexible, kabhi idhar, kabhi udhar, aisa. Exile no longer seems a pathology, bola usne yahan pe. It's not exactly just a pathological, it is not this, more than a pathology. Okay, or an affliction, कोई curse नहीं है. Displacement and the psychology of exile are in. Psychology of exile, यहाँ psychological बोला उसने. Cultural continuities and settled communities are out. और इतना continuity होना है, community settled होना है, these are out of fashion now. There is a touch of ennui about them. Boredom. खत्म हो गया वो. There is another way of looking at exile. Exile is not something at which you have to do ऐसा exile हो गया. Nothing of that sort. Right, now. Okay, which of the following is closest to the meaning of the phrase labile sense of self? Labile. So थोड़ा सा literal meaning भी पता होना चाहिए. And then again in context you can take out the meaning. Humans are not meant to be shunted around. नहीं, labile sense of self is moving. वही तो कह रहा है वहां कि humans are meant to move. So this is opposite. The self does not belong to a particular geography. Okay, I'll keep this. Geography does not imprison the self. Okay, but you know these two options are talking about geography. इसमें भी geography है, तो तीनों को रख लेते हैं. ठीक है. History does not confine the self. History से मतलब नहीं है. It has to do with geography. Location, your home, restricted, confined, जरूरी नहीं है. Does not imprison the self. The self adapts to a new geography. I'll go more with this because adapts. Labile, as I said, it's fluid. It's like, you know, you move, you keep moving around, you do not confine yourself. और एक और चीज यहाँ पे है, exile no longer seems a pathology. So people are not actually feeling cursed because of that. Why? Because they are like, you know, getting reconciled. ये देखो, getting reconciled to living with this. So they keep adapting. Pathology or this, okay, right. So between these three, geography does not imprison, self does not belong to this. No, the self adapts. This is much better. Okay, then based on the passage, which of the following will the author disagree the most with? Okay, disagree. So true, 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 and 1 F. Okay. Now, intellectuals find the notion of exile irrelevant. ये तो दिया है. Intellectual circles बोला है. Being a refugee is a state of mind. Again, this is connected with the psychological, so it's given. I mean, you can be a refugee even in your own home, even in your own state by pulling away from others. Refugees symbolize exploitation and abuse of our times. No, this is opposite. Right. In our era, refugees symbolize a state of mind. Refugees symbolize living with the labile self. Refugees no longer symbolize affliction or curse. So this is opposite. This is the answer. A feeling of alienation in modernizing societies is a common thing. People can do pull or they can be pushed out. It's okay, normal. One does not have to cross frontiers. ये भी दे रखा है. So these are true and this is your answer. This was an easy one. Okay, the last one in this. Project affected families are those that are physically displaced due to construction of a large project, dam, factory, okay, in an area where the PAF traditionally resided. Those physically displaced due to this, ठीक है, dam, factory सब बन रहा है, PAF traditionally resided. With insights from the passage, what would a project proponent dealing with PAF reading the following options agree the most with? Project proponent चाहिए हमको, ठीक है. So don't worry about PAF, they will eventually resettle and rehabilitate. Okay, eventually resettle and rehabilitate. Labile self, yes. Emotional estrangement of PAF is not an area of concern. Okay, emotional psychological है passage में, connect कर लो उससे. PAF as a concept is irrelevant since human displacement is a historical phenomenon. Irrelevant, extreme. Historical phenomenon, no, it is happening even now, it is there everywhere now, it's just that the sense has changed. Okay. Industry and government should care equally about profits and people. Why would the project proponent dealing with PAF think about profits, care, and that too caring equally? Maybe we can take it as faulty comparison. PAF do not have a labile sense of self. Like क्यों? I mean, we don't know from the passage. Passage में PAF is not mentioned, but यहाँ बोला project affected families, people who are forced to get displaced, forced to move because of some construction going on in that area. So they do not have a labile sense of self. Why would he agree with that? He would agree with something, some concept that is given there in the passage. Okay, so why would he point a finger and say they don't have a labile self? This goes down to the micro point, वो है या नहीं है ऐसे हमें कैसे पता? That concept is not given in the passage that if people are getting displaced because of construction of a dam, these people will be rigid. They will not have a labile self. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. This is out. It's between A and B. Okay, don't worry about PAF. They will eventually resettle and rehabilitate. Who is agreeing with it? Project proponent. Project को support करना है, हाँ हाँ बनने दो. And he is dealing with PAF. He has read the passage. Okay, so what would he say? He would say, don't worry, right? They will eventually resettle and rehabilitate. This can be about the physical thing. And this one, emotional estrangement, is not an area of concern. Don't worry. Because these days, rehabilitation is all about the labile self. These days, people adjust. These days, people adapt. It's like the fluidity is there. Aisa. So, between these two, this is the better one. Because it connects with the psychological thing. I hope this is clear. Okay, I think we are left with one more passage. Yeah, the last one. So, the nature of knowledge cannot survive unchanged within this context of general transformation. It can fit into the new channels, become operational, learning is translated, okay. He's talking about learning. We can predict that anything in the constituted, okay, producers, users, research, acquisition of knowledge. अब ये तो बहुत ही बोरिंग टाइप का पैसेज लग रहा है मुझे. Knowledge and all. मतलब ये पिछला वाला तो फिर भी इंटरेस्टिंग था. चलो कोई नहीं, let's read it. The nature of knowledge cannot survive unchanged. Knowledge हमारा within this context of general transformation. So things get transformed, he's saying. It can fit into the new channels. So he's saying unchanged नहीं, कोई भी चीज static नहीं है. Dynamism has to be there. It can fit into the new channels and become operational only if learning is translated into quantities of information. Okay. We can predict that anything in the constituted body of knowledge that is not translatable in this way. Which way? Yeah, translated into quantities of information. Not translatable will be abandoned. So we can predict कि जो इससे abide नहीं कर रहा है, जो इसके हिसाब से नहीं चल रहा है, will be abandoned, and that the direction of new research will be dictated by the possibility of its eventual results. Okay, computer language आएगा. Translatable into this. The producers and users of knowledge must know and will have to possess. Okay, थोड़ा सा बीच में आप स्किम कर सकते हो, इनको क्या करना चाहिए, ठीक है. Knowledge statements. Okay, thus expect a thorough exteriorization of knowledge with respect to knower. अच्छा, knower और knowledge ये सबका दे रखा है इसने. उस पे एक क्वेश्चन तो रहेगा. ओल्ड प्रिंसिपल क्या था? Acquisition of knowledge is indissociable from the training of minds. Is becoming obsolete, वो पुराना हो चुका है. The relationships of suppliers, ये सब skim कर लो आप थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि ये एक ही पॉइंट को 2-3 बार अलग अलग तरीके से रिपीट कर रहा है. I will go down to this now. Knowledge is and will be produced in order to be sold. It is and will be consumed in order to be valorized in a new production. In both the cases, colon है यहाँ, pay attention to this. Both cases, the goal is exchange. Exchange ही करना है. Knowledge ceases to be an end in itself. It loses its use value. End in itself बोले तो it is the ultimate thing, नहीं? Knowledge is used as a medium for something else to achieve some other goals. Okay, ये है. In order to be valorized in a new production, किसी और तरीके से यूज होगा. सो वहां पे आके नॉलेज पे आके गाड़ी रुक नहीं जाती है. Okay, now, which of the following statements best captures the essence of the passage? Before I go to the options, I know this much: knowledge, change, transformation, movement. बोला है उसने only, क्या था ये? Only this way. Quantities of information and it is not the end product. उसका अपना value वहां पे खत्म नहीं हो जाता है. It is used for something else. Right? Knowledge can no longer be evaluated by its truth but its commercial value. Last का 2 line में यही बोला है, exchange. The goal is exchange. Knowledge ceases to be this. It is used further for some production. Commercial value, okay. Translation of knowledge into machine language exteriorizes it. Translation of knowledge into machine language. Okay, essence of the passage is not machine language related. So this is easily eliminated. Market forces have taken over the process of knowledge production. You can keep this. But commercial and market forces, this becomes narrow. You're talking about commercial के under कैसे market forces, demand, supply, ऐसा. So this is थोड़ा सा narrow. But its commercial value, that is exchange value, last के 2 lines. That is the essence. So ये रख लो फिलहाल. Suppliers and users of knowledge have become its producers and consumers. This is again under the exchange value thing. Suppliers, producers, consumers, market forces, सब उसके अंडर micro में आते हैं. Definitely eliminated. Knowledge shall be exclusively produced to be sold. Exclusively produced to be sold. This kind of becomes extreme. So between market forces and commercial value, this goes more with the overall picture, the crux. It shall no longer be evaluated by its truth, commercial value. अब आप यहाँ पे truth वाला point, if you want to prove, let's go and check. In order to be sold, it is and will be consumed, valorized, new production में, ठीक है? Both the cases, exchange, ceases to be an end in itself, no longer valued for the truth. It loses its use value. दे रखा है इसने. So done. This is good. Next, based on the passage, which of the following statements can be best inferred? Simple inference का question है. Okay. Knowledge as a transactional commodity is indispensable to productive power. Indispensable. थोड़ा extreme है. Inevitable, indispensable. These are put as traps. Mental discipline is not necessary for learning anymore. Wait. He says here, yeah, the old principle that the acquisition of knowledge is dissociable from the training of minds, okay, or even of individuals, is becoming obsolete and will become ever more so. Okay, the relationships, okay, to the knowledge they supply is tending, okay. Now, what does he say here? Earlier, people said that this knowledge is inextricable from what? From the training of minds. This is talking about discipline of minds, right? Mental discipline is not necessary for learning anymore. So here he is talking about mental discipline जो कि जरूरत है या नहीं है. वहां ये कह रहा था कि people thought earlier, we may thus expect through this exteriorization of knowledge with respect to the knower at whatever point he or she may occupy. Acquisition of knowledge. Acquisition of knowledge means आप हासिल कर रहे हो. That was unbreakable or inextricable from the training of minds or even of individuals. That is becoming obsolete and it will become ever more so. So it is still like, slowly it is becoming obsolete. So when we go over here, best inferred mein, इंडिस्पेंसिबल तो हमने अभी इधर रखा किनारे. मेंटल डिसिप्लिन इज नॉट नेसेसरी एनी मोर. अभी वो चल ही रहा है कम होना. अभी इट्स लाइक वी हैवंट रीच्ड दैट पॉइंट वेयर इट इज नो लॉन्गर नीडेड. राइट. सो आई हैव माय डाउट्स अबाउट दिस. This is the locus of creation and accumulation of knowledge has shifted. Locus of creation and accumulation. Acquisition of knowledge need no longer transform its recipient. So ये एक transform का है. For knowledge to acquire and exchange value, it should cease to have a use value. Now this is extreme. इसको eliminate कर दो. These three are eliminated. ये कह रहा है अगर उसको exchange value होना है, it should cease to have a use value. पैसेज में ऑथर ने बोला है इट इज हैपनिंग दिस वे, इट इज नो लॉन्गर वैल्यूड, नॉलेज सीजेस टू बी एन एंड, इट लूजेस इट्स यूज वैल्यू. सिर्फ यूज वैल्यू पहले होता था, अब सिर्फ यूज वैल्यू नहीं है, इट्स मोर ऑफ दैट कमर्शियल वैल्यू, द एक्सचेंज वैल्यू. दैट डजंट मीन that this thing for in order to acquire an exchange value it should cease. पहले पूरा रोक दो, यूज वैल्यू पूरा रोक दो, खत्म कर दो, तभी जाकर के एक्सचेंज वैल्यू मिलेगा, ऐसा नहीं बोला है इसने. सो दिस इज आउट. सो इट्स बिटवीन सी एंड डी. ओके. नाउ मेंटल डिसिप्लिन का वाला एक्सप्लेन कर दिया आपको मैंने. हाँ, द लोकस ऑफ क्रिएशन एंड अक्यूमुलेशन ऑफ नॉलेज हैज शिफ्टेड. ओके. नाउ recent research on this hegemony, all right, we may thus expect a thorough exteriorization. Okay, exteriorization of knowledge with respect to the knower. Okay, occupy, all right, the old principle, ठीक है. Increasingly tend, okay, consumers, all right, fine. So यहाँ पे इसने जो ये बोला ना exteriorization का, exteriorization of knowledge, we can maybe connect that over here with the option the locus of creation and accumulation. Not creation exactly, it's like the locus of accumulation. Earlier it was within the learner, within the knower. Ab exteriorization hai, right? So creation ka not exactly. This maybe is correct. So this is eliminated and this is the only one that's left. So acquisition of knowledge need no longer transform its recipient. यहाँ पे ये देखो इसमें possibility of this, the producers and users must know and will have to possess into these. Okay, research on this is already well advanced. Certain set of prescriptions. Now कैसे उसको हम निकाल रहे हैं, यहाँ ये जो नोअर वाला है ना, प्रोड्यूसर्स एंड यूजर्स वाला है, इसने आपको बोला है यहाँ पे क्या, एक्विजिशन ऑफ नॉलेज नीड नो लॉन्गर ट्रांसफॉर्म. ओके, और एक यहाँ पे पॉइंट है, यहाँ देखो आप, that is not translatable in this way will be abandoned. Okay, and ये बोला है translatable into this, producers and users जो दे रहा है, creators knowledge must know and will have to what, possess the means of translating into these languages whatever they want to invent or learn. They need not change themselves, but they have to learn, they will have to possess the means of translating this. Research on translating machines, ये सब हो गया. And then you come to this point, we may thus expect a thorough exteriorization with respect to the knower at whatever point he or she may occupy in the knowledge process. He or she is there in the knowledge process. कोई भी point उनका जो भी occupy कर रहा है, but exteriorization हो रहा है. So it is no longer within the learner. But ये जो कह रहा है, need no longer transform, उसको transform, recipient को transform होने की जरूरत नहीं है उसमें. ठीक है. This is fine. I mean, this is the best one, although I don't agree very much with the correct answer. But बाकी सब तो eliminate ही हो रहे हैं इसमें. कोई question ऐसा होता है ZAT में जिसमें like you really will not agree with the answer, but you cannot change it. Which of the following options will the author agree the most with? Again, kind of inference. I think this is an easy one. To get promoted, an unempathetic manager can learn to display. Achha, so this is an application question. Okay, application बोले तो apply करना है, देखना है which one goes with the theme. To get promoted, unempathetic can learn to display empathy. According to the passage, everything can be learned. This is what he has said. It is exteriorization, not inside the learner कि पहले उसका natural था, ये था. No, exteriorization of the learner. So everything can be given to him. जैसे language वगैरह उसने बोला, computer and all, everything can be given. ठीक है. So unempathetic manager can learn. This is the theme. This is good. To teach poetry, one must not be a poet. अब ये कह रहा है to teach poetry, I want to teach you poetry. I must not be a poet. ऐसा सप्लायर का कोई वो है ना, प्रोड्यूसर क्रिएटर जो है, उसकी कोई वैसा उसका मुद्दा ही नहीं है. You may or may not be a poet, but you have to teach poetry. The mudda is on this, that everything can be learned. So अगर ये कह रहा है one must not be a poet, तभी वो poetry सिखा सकता है, ये this is wrong. A daughter of a lawyer must become a lawyer. The passage is about training. The passage is about adapting, about learning things. So must become a lawyer. This becomes extreme. MBA program has a high exchange value but zero use value. Exchange value है, zero use value. The author in the last two lines says exchange value हो गया है इनका, it loses its use value. That doesn't mean zero use value होगा उसका, right? So this is extreme. A person with no passion for singing, if trained, will sing perfectly. Training, learning, I'll keep this and this. ठीक है. Now this is to get promoted. Look at the difference between the two. ये है, सुनो यहाँ कैसा, लास्ट लाइन बोला है आपका, आप देख लो यहाँ जाके. इन ऑर्डर टू बी सोल्ड, कंज्यूम्ड इन ऑर्डर टू बी वैलोराइज्ड इन अ न्यू प्रोडक्शन, ये देख रहे हो, मीन्स दैट इज गोइंग टू बी यूज्ड फर्दर फॉर समथिंग. So this, he is going to learn empathy not because he is passionate about empathy, not because he wants to improve himself as a person, no, because he wants to get further promoted. So ये आपका better है, going with the last two lines. और ये कह रहा है a person with no passion for singing, if trained, will sing perfectly. Okay, आपने सिखा दिया, learn भी कर लिया उसने, but this is not getting valorized for further production. ठीक है. So this is eliminated and this is your answer. I hope this passage is also clear to all of you. Chalo, thank you very much.